Hello, creepies and crawlies, and welcome back to I-Sream Queens. We have a fun show in store for you this evening, and we will be touching on some of our favorite subjects, Halloween and snacks, and Halloween and eating snacks. So I'm not going to waste any time. Oh, by the way, this is going to be a bit of an extra long episode. So we are running from 7 to 9 tonight. So feel free to jump in, join the conversation. I have invited all of our hosts from behind the cereal box, or excuse me, back at the cereal box, to pop in at 8 o'clock and join the chat with us. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and bring in Kat and Lauren.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Hi. Good.
Very good.
By the way, I am loving the Snow White look tonight. I feel like this has something to do with what we're discussing.
Little bit.
Okay.
You gotta get the Snow White voice.
A little bit.
It's been so long since I've seen a Snow White or anything from our past in Disney. So it's
I would love to say that, but that's a lie. I watch Disney on a regular basis. I may have been forcing the mister to listen to Disney in the car with like the last 48 hours. So yeah. Now, Kat, you were doing something kind of fun last night. Where were you at? What were you doing?
I went on the Elmwood Cemetery tour that they do here in Memphis every year, and it's really kind of cool. They didn't do it last year for obvious reasons, but this year they brought it back, and it's just, I take my family every year, and it's always neat because they change it up so much, and they change it from every single tour. And if you want to know anything about all of Memphis and all of the back history and the seedy history of our city, like, it is buried in Elmwood. So I highly recommend everybody go check out that cemetery. Plus the tombstones, like, just
it's beautiful.
Beauty of the tombstones. Yeah, I think they even filmed like a scene from The Firm there. I mean, it's just a iconic kind of place to go check out, especially this time of year.
It is one of those locations that if you are in a photography group in the Memphis area, it's a staple. It's beautiful. The statues are gorgeous. There's so much history there, and it's a lot of fun. Speaking of history, our topic for tonight, for just kind of us, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but evidently the Zodiac killer has now been identified.
What?
Ooh.
Yes. So there is I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So there is basically it's a research, or it's a group, and it's more than 40 former law enforcement investigators, journalists, military intelligence, and they're called the Case Breakers. And they have investigated mysteries such as the D.B. Cooper hijacking, Jimmy Hoffa. So they specialize in unsolved cases, and they have identified Gary F. Post as the infamous Zodiac killer. And it's a very interesting story because not only do you have this history of probably one of the most famous serial killers in unsolved cases, there was another little twist at the end of the article that somebody who has been in hiding is either living with one of the group members or has been staying with one of the group members. They refer to him only as Will, and he was part of, I'm sorry, I have to go back and look at his name, Gary Post's posse, which was made up of these young men that he would recruit in to go out and like harass people that owed him money. So he had this little street gang. And so the Zodiac killer was training young men to go out and be criminals and do bad things. Some of the things that he commented on is that Will told witnesses that they would bury murder weapons in the woods and other weapons. So I'm like curious to really look into this posse group now and see what all the Zodiac killer, who all he trained, and what these guys have evolved into. So that's kind of interesting.
That's super,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
insanely out of the blue. Was not expecting that of all things, but super exciting.
I agree. I'm a true crime aficionado. So I mean, it's like anything regarding true crime, I'm so into, and I absolutely love it. I want to go ahead. Magda has sent a message, and she is trying to join us, but is having some technical difficulties. That seems to be the way of the world this evening.
It is.
So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring in our special guest. So tonight is hopefully going to be our first foodie episode. Now, of course, we are not in the kitchen. However, we do have videos of us in the kitchen making some really cool treats, which I have my treats with me. Just going to say that. So without further ado, let's bring in Brimstone.
Hey, what's going on, ladies?
Welcome.
Finally, Brimstone has made it to the I-Sream podcast with you ladies. It's absolutely an honor and a privilege. We're hanging out, gonna have some snacks, have a couple of drinks. I'm sure it's gonna be all unalcoholic drinks because we're not allowed to do the alcoholic thing. However, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah. You know.
No, we can't. Can't we?
Wings. I'm drinking water, which looks like vodka, but it's water. I'm telling you.
Adult juice
Coffee.
box.
I have this one here, but I also brought over this one just because it goes with the outfit of the evening.
there you
It's my
go.
poisoned apple.
Nice.
Lovely. Now I wanted to introduce you, and I was trying to put together. It's like, what do I say about him? I'm just going to. Brimstone has lived more lives than any one person has. I mean, honestly, give us a quick. And normally I tell people, give me the elevator pitch, but this is going to be a couple of elevator rides, I feel.
No, I mean, I'll make it quick. I mean, essentially, you know, I've been in entertainment for over 40 years. I started on Sesame Street and Romper Room as a child actor. I toured the world of music, pro wrestling. I'm an actor and author, comic book character, animated character, kids book character, the whole 9 yards. I do the podcast thing as well with the Grindhouse Radio. I do Truly Inconsequential. I do Within Brim Skin, and I also do the Dirty Little Secrets Club, which is an awesome show. And you know, and I do a lot of voiceover work. I mean, I'm out there. I do a lot of different things. And yeah, that's the elevator pitch. I hope that worked.
I love it. I feel like it should have been like, hey, so what do you do? Yes.
Exactly.
That'll be
like
that'll
a
be what I
Renaissance
use
man.
in the future.
Yeah. I have a question for you though on the wrestling thing. I think that's kind of neat and fascinating because I don't think we've ever had a wrestler or talked to one before. And how do you get into that? That is just.
Well, I mean, you know, the proper way to do it is to find a school to go to, and you learn all the basics, and they put you through the training, and it's very rigorous. And you know, eventually you get on what they call the independent circuit, and you work the independent circuit, and hope that eventually some of the bigs find you. I mean, but you can make a very good career, you know, doing the independent circuit as well. So you know, it's essentially it's you know. It's a real rough business, and you only have just so many spots at the top. So you know what I mean. It's just like any profession. You know what I mean. So you just got to work your rear end off, and you know, hope that you can make people smile and put some people in seats. You know.
I think that's great. That used to be a big thing here where we live. And Saturday morning wrestling, that was huge here in Memphis. That's why
Memphis
I was like, that's really neat.
Yeah,
it is not it is not unusual for us to be out and about and run into like Jerry Lawler or Jimmy Hart, or I mean, we see basically wrestling royalty from the Memphis area on a regular basis, and it's funny because we don't think it's you know who they are, but you're just like, oh, it's Jerry Lawler. I saw him last week. You know, everything's fine. Yeah, but yes. If you're in the Memphis, hello Magda, hi, how are you? Welcome.
Apologies, my Wi-Fi decided it wasn't going to be particularly helpful this evening, so I'm here.
Hey,
that is a normal. If that doesn't happen at least once a show, you know, I'm just kind of. on my. Something just happened on mine, so bear with me. Hey, y'all talk amongst yourself. I'm trying to get mine back online now, so something's being weird
So
here.
speaking of technical difficulties, just saying we should really come up with some sort of screensaver to where when that's happening, it just pops up something really random and like bright colored, like old TV show kind of theme. I want it.
I think it just leaves your face frozen in like this weird awkward pose, like you're in the middle of saying a word and it just parks it right there.
I really want something along the lines of the intermissions for drive-in movies. You know, the little hot dog guy. and-
Oh,
yeah.
like that terrible bunny movie we watched.
Thanks for reminding us.
You're welcome.
Terrible bunny movie. What terrible bunny movie can you possibly speak?
Oh, we have plenty. We can give you a list.
What was the one that was so wannabe Quentin Tarantino though that we watched over here?
Oh my
Bunny Man.
gosh. Bunny Man.
Bunny Man.
Bunny Man.
Bunny Man.
Our first
Bunny Man.
episode. Yes.
Bunny Man.
Our first episode was on bunny rabbits and horror because it is a theme that you don't think about that just seems to show up in so many horror movies, video games, you name it, it's there. And I mean, there are shows or movies like Donnie Darko that we just automatically go to, but there were so many. And it was a hilarious, when we started researching it, we're just like, oh my God, this is awful. This is glorious. We have to talk about this.
I was expecting like a handful of things to talk about. I ended up with like 3 pages full of bunny horror to go over.
Wow.
So I want to start. Magda, are you ready?
I am, if you like.
I want to start with Magda. Normally she has a video for us, but tonight she's going to be doing a live reading. She usually picks out a couple of quotes and records them for us because just listening to her speak and read, it's ASMR at its finest. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, she could say something like pineapples fly through the wind and the breeze, and I would be like,
and you're like transformed to another place automatically with that.
So tonight for the live version, we recommend to get your glass of adult
apple juice
and light some candles and sit back and relax because Magda is about to read to us.
This evening, I decided, since we were talking about various and sundry creepy and delightful recipes, I thought I would go with something literary that technically could qualify as a recipe. We have The Witch's Spell from Shakespeare's Macbeth. Thrice the blinded cat hath mewed, thrice and once the hedge pig whined. Harpiers cry, 'tis time, 'tis time. Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone days and nights has 31, sweltered, venom, sleeping goat, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a finny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a helm broth boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Well, I'm bewitched.
Meowza.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I know. It's just, if you have had a rough day and getting ready for this show and just getting logged in and making sure everything tech works, it is the most calming experience and it sets us for the mood.
Are you from Scotland, lass?
I'm originally from Aberdeen, so I'm a Highland lass, me.
Very good. All right, good. I hear the accent. I'm not so good at it, but I'll try.
I'm not offended.
You shouldn't be.
So tonight we are going to be talking about, we're going to talk about Halloween, because you cannot talk about Halloween treats and all of the goodies without talking about the myths, the lores, the legends, everything that goes alongside it. And we have cooking videos to go with it. And we want, Brimstone, we want your opinion on some of these items that we are cooking, whether it looks like it's a tasty treat. Oh, chills, just chills, of course. And we want to know your thoughts on our quick little snippets that we've put together. Would you try it? Is this something you're like, no, no, no? And let's get started. And Lauren, let's start with you.
Oh, okay.
So I was originally going to do wow, I'm blurry. Hi. I was originally going to do candy apples. And I did a bunch of research on it, and I was like, yeah, I'll make some candy apples. It's like traditional, it's Halloween-y, and it'll be great. And then I sat there and I thought, and I was like, I hate candy apples. I really, really hate. I don't want to eat them. They're pretty. That's about all I got for it. And so I turned to my husband and I was like, if I made a bunch of candy apples, would you eat candy apples? And he was like, no, I don't like candy apples. And I was like, does anyone? Fun fact, when doing my research, candy apples weren't even made to be eaten. They were like a store prop to try and sell the candy around the outside of the apple. And people just are like, oh, that's pretty. I want to eat that. And they would just buy that instead of the candy. So I ended up with a really, really crazy idea because I was like, you know what? I want to come up with something different. I like the apple theme. I'll do a bunch of research on Apple. I'll talk about that. It'd be cool. But what can I do that's like apple-y, but like what's Halloween-y? Poisoned apple. Okay, yeah. Hi, Snow White outfit here. Poison apple.
Say it in your best Snow White voice, though.
In my best Snow White voice, she has the little highest pitch voice of all of them.
But I wanted to come up with something a little interesting. So out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? I want to make like an apple pie pot sticker. And then chaos ensued while I tried to figure out how to poison my pot stickers, I made a TikTok about it. Everyone told me all of their ideas. Like 50% of them were like, just put color dye in it. And I'm like, ew, no. All right, play the video.
Fish is not a fan of candy apples either, evidently.
Yeah. See, it's not just me. They're too hard. They hurt your teeth.
I like the caramel apples. The caramel apples are delicious.
Caramel, yeah, but the candy apples are just too hard. You have to take a knife, or more like take a hammer to it.
I'm the opposite. I like candy, not caramel.
Or you do the old school lick. You know what I mean? Do it real fast. Anyway. See? There you go.
Just like that. So I don't know if we have the video up and ready to load. I think I sent one in, but it was very last minute because, oh my gosh, a 10-minute video was difficult to shrink down enough for this show. It is time for apple pie pot stickers. To be more specific, poisoned apple pie pot stickers. And a lot of people had some advice on how to do the poison filling. Some people were really pushing just using a colored sugar. All right, purple colored sugar. That's one apple. Others were really pushing the whole just put some food coloring in there, which I personally am not the biggest fan of because I can taste food coloring. It's like a little bitter, but okay, we're going to try it. I got you as apple 2. Now, my personal idea was to use something that's already kind of a little sweet. So I'm going to make kind of a cream cheese frosting. Very light on the sugar, though. Put a little food coloring in there. See what happens with that. So that's apple 3. But then I started second guessing cooking the cream cheese in the oven inside of the apple dumplings. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I know that cooking with cream cheese is a thing, but I haven't ever baked cream cheese before. So if I figure, if we're going to go all out and try some cool, weird stuff, let's just add another cheese onto the list. Apple 4 gets, what is this? Honey goat cheese. The sugar is purple, the dye is black. I think I'm going to do the cream cheese, maybe a green, and we'll go with red for the goat cheese, just to see what happens. Peel and slice. Now, I'm going to season apple 1 by itself in its own bowl, and then do apples 2, 3, and 4 together, since they're just getting add-in dyes. By the way, these are Honeycrisp. From here, season like traditional apple pie. allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom. No, I have no idea if that's the right pronunciation. Just go with it. Cloves and sugar. This one's my first batch though, so it's getting purple sugar. On my other ones, I'm putting regular and brown sugar though. From here, stir it around and make it mixy. Not sure this purple sugar is gonna work though. Hey, it was the only color I could find. Also, if you're wanting measurements on how much of all those spices I used, it won't be in my notes, sorry. A lot of people will tell you to measure with your heart or measure with your soul. I can't do either of those. I measure with my nose. To me, if it smells good, it's gonna taste good. You can always just kind of Google measurements if you really need, or cheat. Use a pumpkin pie. Also, if you like your pies a little more syrupy and less drippy, add in some cornstarch. That'll thicken it up a bit. And for the dumpling pie part, let's roll some of this out. Would probably help if I faced it that way. Just a general heads up, I've never done this before and I am not looking up how to do it, so we're winging it. Preheat oven to 400. Warning, incoming pop. Flour your surface so it doesn't stick too bad. And smush a cinnamon roll. Don't forget to parchment paper your pan. Place your apple in and pinch that bad boy shut. Now what I'm doing here is I'm smushing these together a little bit more to where I can fold them over. And then I'm going to cheat and use the fork method, where you place it down, smush it with a fork, gives it a little pretty pie edge, and you just do that all the way around. If you find that your fork is sticking, you can get a little cup of flour and dip your fork into flour in between every other swipe, but this is generally the shape that we're kind of going for. The ones I'm doing right now are the ones that are covered in the purple sugar. I'm not sure the purple sugar idea is going to work because honestly, they generally just look like apple pie. They're not really showing purple at all, but hey, who knows? Maybe when we cook them, they'll do something cooler. I've got 4 of the purple sugar ones together, and I'm about to throw together the ones with the straight black dye in it. So let's movie magic that and speed it up a bit. 2 out of 4 done. Let's move on to the cream cheese. I'm only making like 4 of these, and I'm not about to break up my mixer for that, so we're gonna hand stir these. I'm only gonna go for about maybe that much cream cheese, the tiniest bit of powdered sugar, and a couple drops of green. Choose a couple, right? Mix it until it looks like something that came straight out of the mind of Dr. Seuss. Or from that scene in Hook. I feel like I'm making some really weird sushi rolls here. Let's do some honey goat cheese now. I don't know, about that much. But I just tasted it. It's already sweet, so let's go straight into the red dye. Whoop, that was a bit, lot. I actually think it wasn't enough. It's kind of a little pink. I'm gonna add some more. That's a bit better. We are all prepped. I'm gonna throw these in the oven. We're gonna bake them for, I'll start at 11 minutes, see if they need to go a little longer from there. In you go. Now, since these are pot stickers, dumplings, they should traditionally have a dipping sauce. So let's make a blood caramel dip. Heat about a cup of sugar. But do not wander far from your stove because it can burn super quick. Move it around a little bit every so often, but let it sit for a while to kind of, well, caramelize. This part takes a really long time. Time to check the pot stickers. I'd say another 2 minutes. There we go. A couple of them broke out, but most of them look like not poison. On the caramel, you'll start to get crunchies like this. Still stir, let it sit for a minute, stir again, continue on. I have been cooking caramel for like 25 minutes now. It's finally starting to do liquid stuff though. Fun tip, don't stir it with a metal spoon. You will never be able to get that off. Once it looks kind of like that, add in butter. About 6-ish tablespoons and be ready for lots of bubbles. Once it looks like it's done trying to murder you, add in about half a cup of cream. From there, begin to whisk. Add a few drops of red and make it blood. Yeah. Taste test. Oh my God. Is that bloody enough for you? All right, special guest tasters are my husband and DL. Say hello. So it's totally not an experiment and definitely not poisoned. So have at.
At least mine is not poisoned.
Yes.
Ladies first.
Wait.
Is that a rabbit over there?
What?
What the hell? Inconceivable.
Oh, that smells good.
Here we go. Oh my God.
All right, so what's in it?
You don't want none of this.
I don't want any. Oh my god.
The green is the cream cheese filling.
This one looks like purple,
There's a mysterious hand popping
right?
in.
Mine's kind of rotten.
The purple is made with purple sugar instead of regular sugar. The black is regular, but just with drops of black on it.
Okay.
I think the caramel actually sits on this one flavor-wise better.
Okay, well, I'll have to try the purple next.
Oh.
But the black one,
Oh,
it's actually pretty, yeah, we got two different ones.
okay.
It's actually pretty good. This one's good. It's very mellow. It's not just apple all up in your face.
In your face.
You said the purple one was basically sugar, apples, and just the crust.
Pretty much like an apple pie.
It's a very simple palette in comparison to everything else, but the caramel sauce sits so beautifully on that, and you taste that more so than you taste all of the other the mixed ingredients. That's really good.
I got purple left to do, and you got black left to do.
Okay, so what's in the red?
That is a honey goat cheese.
Is this?
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's that sweet, savory, all in one. That's just that is the perfect combination. That's the winner right there.
Yay!
I agree. Oh no, I need to save room for the other one, but
Right?
I don't know.
I want to. The goat cheese just sells it.
It is going to be hard to beat the last
Yeah.
one. Oh, that's good. Oh my god. Okay.
The purple does meld with that the best.
It carries it.
Yeah, it definitely accentuates the caramel. The black one, I'd say, was just it was good.
No, they were all
They're all delicious, but the black one is just it's very mellow. The caramel overpowers the black one. The apple is just the green one's just an apple punch in the face. That was awesome.
That was great. Yes.
It's like yeehaw.
But you know, I think the green was also the first one we ate.
Right.
And so,
I'm taking another bite. Just
like coffee, or like there's some foods that if you continue to eat, sometimes you lose because you put some you lose some of the flavor just because you've built up so much on the palate. And I'm wondering, depending on which one we would have started with, or just kind of maybe taking like a sip of water between might have actually altered the
and we have
flavor a
some
bit.
ginger slices out here.
Yes.
Something. Yeah.
That would involve planning.
All of them were delicious.
What was your favorite?
My favorite? Goat cheese. Red.
Goat cheese, definitely the goat cheese.
Nice.
No.
I love how you can hear like everything going on in the background of that video.
Like a toddler running into the wall occasionally. So that's how you make caramel. I need to do this. Yes, you do.
It's a candy
Yes,
corn. I
I
thought the same thing.
It is a candy corn sweater, and I looked like somebody's grandma last night. I'm not gonna lie. It was about 10:30, 11 o'clock when we showed up at your door. It's like, here, let's sample.
I
All
loved
right.
it. I thought it was cute.
Brimstone, you are a foodie. She had 4 different pies to choose from. She had a goat cheese or a honey goat cheese. She had a traditional pumpkin pie, and these were really more along the lines of apple dumplings. Lauren, what were the other 2 flavors, please? I know one was cream cheese.
One was cream cheese. One was just straight brown sugar with black drops of dye in there just to see if it would make it look more poisoned. And then the other one was apple seasoning, but instead of regular or brown sugar, it was just straight purple sugar.
What are your thoughts on what you saw? What would you change? And which one do you think that you would like to try?
Well, first and foremost, I wouldn't necessarily call them dumplings. They look like empanadas. So I think what you did was you made legit empanadas is what it looked like. I mean, they were nice size. They were, not pies, but they were, dessert empanadas. But that being said, I am a connoisseur of empanadas. And I would say that the goat cheese one sounded very, very interesting to me. The flavor behavior in there has got to be interesting if you're combining the goat cheese with what do you call it? With you said a little bit of sugar and a little bit of and some of the apples in there, right? What else was in that? What else was in that one?
Cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, allspice, cloves.
So it's like an apple pie with some goat cheese slapped in there.
And honey goat cheese. Yep, and brown sugar.
And you use the what do you call it? The dough that you used was from the what do you call it? The
cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. I'm not a big cinnamon roll guy, but that looked very interesting. I would first of all I would taste all of them to give them a shot, but that one looked like the biggest one for me. That one I would definitely love to see what the flavor is all about and get them onto every one of my taste buds. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to make a confession here. I don't know what an empanada is.
Really?
Yes.
Please enlighten her.
It's a Latino treat. So what do you call it? It's a Latin treat. So if you look up empanada, there are a million different types of empanadas. So and there's a couple different ways to do it. Whether it's cornmeal, and then another type is oh my God, flaky. I can't explain it all, but they're absolutely unbelievable if you get them the right way. But most of the time it's meat in there. Sometimes they do a little bit of, like I said, a bunch of different dessert empanadas, but it's absolutely fantastic. There's a really delicious place here on Long Island in New York where I live, which they brewed up about a year ago, and they are absolutely fantastic. So, Jesse's Pastries is the name of it. But so if you're ever in the area, I'll send you to the right place.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. Also, any Memphis Bartlett people watching, and any place good to get empanadas, put it in the comments, please, because I want to go try this now.
So I need to share with you. I have it's basically a recipe, but I don't know it's a recipe, and it's a charcuterie board that is designed around empanadas. And you basically, it's an empanada charcuterie board. And I know that sounds really strange, but it is absolutely glorious. Absolutely glorious.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
I need to, yeah. So I need to ask you, Brimstone, did you have anything that you prepared that you wanted to share with us, or any favorite treats that you wanted to talk about tonight?
Well, what do you call it? As far as treat making is concerned, I'm supposed to be on a little bit of a diet right now because I'm trying to get myself back in gear in the gym, and I just started the other day. So we're trying to be easy on it, and I have to save a little bit of my calorie intake because tomorrow is my wedding anniversary. So I'm trying to make sure that when we go out, I can enjoy myself. That being said, one of my go-tos again for Halloween. I love everything about Halloween. I mean, look, just throw some Hershey on the table and I'm happy. But what do you call it? At the end of the day, I'm a big Rice Krispie treat fan. Like you can't get enough of Rice Krispie treats for me. And whether it's Rice Krispies or you can even do the Fruity Pebble treats, that's unbelievable. So that's pretty much what I'll make for any holiday. So it's not really just Halloween. It's for any holiday. I'll go to town and make those. And unfortunately, like I said, I couldn't make them today simply because of the reasonings I told you, and the fact that I would eat the entire thing in one sitting. So that is a problem.
Okay, I have to ask advice then. I tried to make Rice Krispie treats for a bake sale for my daughter once, and they ended up being a Rice Krispie brick. I don't know if I pressed them too hard or what, but they were uneatable, unedible. Well,
first and foremost, did you use actual Rice Krispies or the bargain?
Yes, I used the name brand Rice Krispies. I think I may have gotten bargain brand marshmallows though. Okay,
always got to get the good stuff for the Rice Krispie treats first and foremost. Second of all, did you use butter? I used
butter and then parchment paper so it wouldn't stick to the pan. It stuck anyway though.
Yeah,
did not get it out of the pan.
So what do you mean it
parchment?
Yeah, that's weird. Well, they have the non-stick stuff, so you can get that too. But essentially, I mean, I don't see why it would have been hard as a rock. Maybe you didn't use enough marshmallow. I always put extra.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
all right.
They should be light and fluffy. I mean,
I think I might have pressed. I might have kung fu grip pressed them into the pan a bit too much.
So outside of traditional and Fruity Pebble Rice Krispie treats, are there any specific recipes that you lean towards. Like I love to make them with miniature Reese's, and they are yeah, I know. Look at that face. Yeah. Any little special tricks you like with yours?
No, straight up, man. Straight up. You can't, it doesn't need anything. It's like, it's like when a man loves a woman just in her form, that's all you need. You don't need anything extra. You know what I'm saying? So why look at your meal and be like, I need more? No, you need bare bones, minimum deliciousness.
God, we love you.
That's how you get uninvited from bake sales. Yeah, I literally saw a kid walk up, attempt to get one of my Rice Krispie treats, try to bite it and go, and throw it away right there. I was like, dang.
Wait. Okay, so this is Fish Head, which is Mr. Fish. He was on our Absinthe show, and he makes some really, really tasty treats. My favorite, I have chai concentrate mixed into hot mulled apple cider, and also hot cider with cinnamon, European butter, and a pinch of salt, finished with rum. Is this a drink or is this Rice Krispie treats? What are we?
It's a drink. They're his favorite treat.
Sounds really good.
His favorite.
I'm like,
Halloween
I want
treat.
that. I know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, you could do that. You could also do it with coffee. If you have you drink coffee, some people will put butter in coffee, and it's that's used very often when people are on certain diets. But
Keto?
The keto diet. Yeah. So,
That's called bulletproof coffee. I found that out. The Mister from Toy Robot actually was in a. He's going to have to refresh my memory. He did a movie or a series for Showtime, and one of the things that they were talking about was bulletproof coffee. I had never heard of it before, and it sounded so glorious. Yes, it is delicious. Oh my gosh, butter and coffee is phenomenal.
It's really good, but at the end of the
Don't
day,
make a face.
It's just so listen, I had to try it. You have to try it at least once, but you can't continuously drink it because it's unhealthy. You know what I mean? I love butter. I would eat a stick of butter. No, I wouldn't eat a stick of butter. But I'm always extra butter. I'm good with the butter, but
sugar.
Oh wait, we are in the South. There is such a thing as like battered, deep fried in sugar butter. It's like deep fried butter. It is a thing. We're in the South. Butter goes in everything.
Yeah,
real butter and lard.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
All right,
trust me when I tell you that the Scots will deep fry anything. I promise it. That's one thing I never had a problem getting used to in the South was that the Scots will deep fry anything. Deep fried Mars bars are one of the biggest things. It's just you can get it at a chip shop, a fish and chip shop. They do deep fried Mars bars. If you can fry it, it will be fried by a Scot somewhere.
Now I want to try deep fried Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, that's a big. Those are all big things at the carnivals. Like they do everything deep fried, and it's craziness. Craziness.
Oh yeah, no. See, I love my Scotch eggs. I do, but I don't like to deep fry them. I actually bake them. I know it's heresy, but I do. I don't like them deep fried. I like them baked. But I do love Scotch eggs. They're nice.
I know I look like I'm doing something insane. Y'all, it's like, please don't watch my little corner. So I want to take a quick moment, Magda. So I have a goth game, and I want to take a quick break between the next video, which Kat, you're coming up, and I want to make sure that the Mister has it. So send me a text if you don't. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and you guys round table answer. Are y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Okay, let me know. Okay, so what actress played the immortal 6-year-old vampire Claudia in Interview with a Vampire? Magda, if you don't know.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
I love
her. By the way, my daughter has watched it now. She just bought a new bat. She named it Lestat. It's so cute. What evil creature has been said to be haunting the coast of the New Jersey shore? We may know him. No, we may know him. We may know him, Lauren.
Is it a guy? It's a guy?
Oh no.
New Jersey.
Jersey.
I'm sorry. I heard
Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil.
Oh,
Jersey Devil.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
By the way, if you have not watched Cryptic Crunch, we have the Jersey Devil, JD, who is one of our co-hosts.
I should have known that. It just dawned on me.
I know him.
I know him.
Name the Seattle-born guitar legend who passed away in England on September 18th, 1870. 1870? No, I'm sorry, 1970. Wrong. That changes things. Guitar
I'm old, but I'm
legend.
not that old. Come on.
You said Seattle-born.
Seattle-born. Lauren?
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not raising my hand. I'm trying to get in focus. Ignore me.
I'm sorry. I was just noticing the foxy lady there.
You said guitar player?
Guitar legend.
Guitar
I
legend.
may be
legend.
dropping
And
hints.
died.
Stevie Ray
Hendrix?
Vaughan.
I
was gonna say Hendrix, maybe.
Hendrix.
Oh, I was right. Okay. Yeah. I saw that movie.
Who authored the angry and ranting book Mein Kampf? I really don't want to touch on
Hitler.
that one. Yeah,
Adolf
yeah.
Hitler. And
I'm sorry, that
Jewish.
was on the
Jew knows.
card.
The
I
Jew knows.
know. I'm so sorry. I started
talking
reading that, and I
about
was like halfway
baking,
through.
I
I'm
mean-
like, no, I don't want to read that one. Name the. I'm going to give this one to Magda because I know she's going to know. Name the gloomy Russian author. I'm already starting on your level. Who penned Dead Souls and Diary of a Madman?
Dostoevsky? Not sure.
No. Okay. I know I'm going to mispronounce this. Nikolai Gogol? Goggle?
Have not
Goggle?
read it. Have not read it. And I'm sure
All right.
I have not read it.
I know. I am shocked because I kind of Magda is our literary aficionado, and it's like if there's a literary question, it goes to her.
Generally speaking.
Yeah. 3 horror tales that are featured. Shoot, I need glasses. 3 horror tales are featured in this film, hosted by Boris Karloff, which later became the name of metal's most famous band.
Metal's most famous band.
Metal's most famous band. Now, this game came out a while ago.
Metal's most famous band would probably be
2002. In 2002.
I don't know.
Metal.
So you're asking the name of the band, or you're asking for the name of the book or the stories? I'm
Both.
I
confused.
think it's all of the above.
All of the above.
Is Metallica one of them?
Metallica is not one of them.
That's the biggest metal band there is.
I'm going to drop a hint.
Pantera.
Rob Halford.
Judas Priest. They
Oh,
suck.
Judas Priest. Yeah.
Oh, crap. I dropped the wrong hint.
No, that's not. That's even.
Holy crap.
Boris Karloff.
I'm sorry. It was Black Sabbath. That was Ozzy. I'm like, why did my brain go?
Okay.
Oh,
One
my
of
God.
these things is not
wrong.
like the other.
What? Yeah. I feel stupid now. Thank you. All right. Kat, what were you cooking for us this week?
I
Mandatory.
cooked a.
Nice
Well,
recovery. Hide under the table.
I just did a classic coffin cake, which is basically like a pumpkin bread with a cream cheese frosting with brown butter mixed in the cream cheese.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Show me.
Oh, that looked
That's
tasty.
lovely.
Okay, so tell us about the cake. That went very fast. What was in there?
Yes, it did. I mean, just all your typical things you would put in a cake, just some flour and, those white powders, the baking soda. And
White powder. Oh, dear.
White powder?
Nailed it.
Got it.
pumpkin pie spice along with that, and then some eggs and sugar and pumpkin, and it just you blend all that together and bake it up, and then the cream cheese and some more white powder and nuts, and
Listen,
spread it over the top.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what Kat Malone has made. That's what we're gonna eat. I'm all for it, Kat. Nailed it. There you go. We're gonna set you up for that show. I think you're gonna kill it. You're gonna kill it. I'm gonna call Nicole Byer direct and be like, all right, she needs to be on this show. She's gonna kill it.
I'm ready. Tell her I'm ready.
She is.
No,
she is so good. Ready.
I'm not a big pumpkin anything fan, believe it or not. I know, don't hate me, but what do you call it? I know during this time everything's pumpkin latte, everything. But like I'm not a big pumpkin cake guy, but I have had some that are very delicious. So, as long as it's moist and has some delicious cream cheese topping on it, I'm always good.
I did not start trying pumpkin spice until this year because I have always hated it, and I have now. Thank you, Lauren. I do like it. It's like I think Lauren and I had a bit of an argument recently about pumpkin spice, and I have decided to give it a try. Yes, you and I did. And I have decided to give it a try. It is good, but you have to find the right combination, because just going to Starbucks and ordering pumpkin spice latte, they put so much artificial flavoring and syrup in it. It's gross. So I've had to kind of like tailor it. I'm that person. Do not get behind me in Starbucks line, but I am that person. I want it completely tailored. And I have a pumpkin spice recipe for lattes that actually requires pureed pumpkin. So that's coming in the future. Maybe with the next cooking episode during Thanksgiving, y'all might get my pumpkin spice latte.
I'm wondering, Kat, if you did that over again and you put in a little bit of rum, just a little bit of rum.
Oh yeah,
that would be yummy.
It would set it right. It set you right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was
put a little bit in, a couple of shots for the cook.
She did a good job. She's very pretty. Yeah. Very good job. I liked it. All right, who's next?
Thank you.
All right, Magda.
Sorry, I didn't get a chance to actually do a cooking video. I wanted to. Every year, I end up doing quite a lot of little creepy crawlies and things. I have two little ones, and they just love Halloween. Halloween's not something that I got a chance to celebrate a lot when I was younger, because overseas it's just not as big a thing. It is now, but back when I was younger, it was not so much a thing. Which is amusing considering the fact that the vast majority of the things that we celebrate now came from overseas.
Yes.
I don't know.
Specifically Scotland.
Scotland and Ireland specifically. The name that people say, they tend to pronounce it incorrectly. It looks like it would be spelled Samhain. No, it's spelled Samhain, but that's not how it's pronounced in Gaelic.
Samhain?
It's actually, it depends upon where you're from as to how you pronounce it. Usually in Irish, it's sound. It's solid one word, like clown, but with an S. It's sound. But in Scottish Gaelic, it's usually pronounced Samhain. So it's two syllables. It's Samhain or Samhain or Samhain. So an A sound or O sound, but it's two syllables.
Or as we say here in Memphis, Samhain.
Samhain.
But the thing is that Samhain is actually just the name for November. If you speak Gaelic, the word for November is Samhain or Sauna. The month of Sauna is Mina Sauna. That's just November. Mina Sauna is the month of November. So, and therefore, Sauna just simply means the end of summer. So that's all that word means. It means summer's end. So
it was originally, wasn't it supposed to be like to represent the end of summer and then the coming of the fall, and that's kind of when, wasn't like the Roman invasion and the British people all kind of like merged and it became like one, everyone stealing each other's holidays.
A bit. You have to understand that when it comes to both Irish and Scottish history, it blends quite a bit. A lot of people believe that Scottish Gaelic, as it is now, Gaelic, is a blending of Irish Gaelic that got mixed in with the Scots language. And so there's different pronunciations. It's spelled slightly differently. It's therefore traditions mix and match. And a lot of what you look at now in today's traditions are a combination of Old Irish, Old Scottish. There's Roman that's in there as well. There's Pictish, and a lot of the mixtures go back and forth. And there's Roman Catholic, which is quite a bit of it in there as well. So you've got saints, which is where Halloween comes from, is All Hallows Eve, which got mixed to Hallows to Halloween. So you've got Roman Catholic in there, you've got pagans in there, you've got all sorts of fun and interesting celebrations of the changing of the wheel of the year. So you've got the beginning of fall, autumn, and the end of summer. So you've got all those lovely things coming in, such as the changing of the leaves, and you've got the harvest, which is the big, big thing when it comes to the end of summertime, because you've got these beautiful things coming in. You've got pumpkins, and you've got apples, and you've got all the delightful things that you can pull out of your garden, which is why you have a feast as well. So I know with my family, we always had a big feast. We always had something fabulous, and there was much baking. And you're talking about those empanadas earlier. There's something the Celts have as well, the English as well, called pasties. And pasties look very similar to empanadas, and they tend to be savory, but you can also have them, the sweet ones as well. And they're basically a pie crust that is put together into sort of a crescent shape. And it's meant to be held on to around the edges. And you don't actually eat the edges, generally speaking. You eat the center part, and the edges are just used as sort of a handle. But yeah, pasties that are nice. And originally, I don't know if people are aware of this, but jack-o'-lanterns weren't originally made out of gourds. They weren't pumpkins. They're actually made out of turnips. Which
I read that.
Teeny tiny little hideous turnips. They just there's no way
Somebody
to
set my
make a
turnips on
jack-o'-lantern
fire.
look precious when you make it out of a turnip. It's just
Carving
hideous.
that.
So
Your
I want to
X-Acto
show
knife
you
out,
something.
Carving it.
I want to
Challenge
show you
mode.
something, and I want to see if you
Yes.
recognize what it is, because it is a traditional recipe that my grandmother used to make these. I did not use her recipe because I could not locate it right off the top, but do you recognize what that is?
Hot cross bun?
Soul cake.
Ah.
So trick-or-treating actually originated from a Scottish tradition that was called souling, where basically people would go door to door. The poor would go door to door, and they would ask for soul cakes to pray for your deceased family members. And I made some. Now, I know I gave a few of these out to sampling. These are very much along the lines of your traditional English biscuit. I would love to say that I actually want to say they're kind of like hardtack. And I do realize that Brimstone, you are getting ready to leave us very soon. So I just wanted to just take a minute and say thank you for joining us and everything. And what can we say about you? What can we share about you where people can find you?
You can check out my official website, therealbrimstone.com. You can also get me on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my social media time, at therealbrimstone. What do you call it? It's me. I'm the one responding. It's not my wife. It's not my assistant. It's not anybody other than myself. So, if you shoot me a message there, I am happy to answer. As long as you're kind and you're nice and you're showing love and not hate, I will always respond. So, and I'm sorry that you hear my dog in the background.
Oh, that's okay. We all have creatures running around. So
yeah. So, but thank you so much for having me on, guys. I'm sorry I've got to go. You know what night it is, so I apologize.
happy anniversary.
Yes,
happy anniversary.
But I'm glad I was able to hang with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Hopefully
you
we
for
can do this
being
again
here.
sometime soon. Mwah.
Mwah! All right. So I know he didn't get to see it, but by God, we're going to keep on rolling it. So I made soul cakes, and I have a video. By the way, if you have tried these, if you had some dropped at your house, they're a little bit on the dry side. They go with cookie. They go with some, you need to dunk them. So let's move on to the video if it's ready.
Look how cute those were.
Delightful. Delightful.
Those are super cute.
Yeah,
I made them a little bit too thin. I really wanted to give everybody a Ouija planchette, but they were a little bit. I think I just heard somebody pop in. Who popped in? Who popped in? Hi! How are you?
Good. I am trying to get set up because I don't want there to be an echo.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time.
So I just got back from a Civil War reenactment.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cool.
Schmancy.
Fancy schmancy. Well, we're talking about treats, and we just watched a video of me attempting to make soul cakes. And I honestly, next time, my family makes tea cakes, and we make traditional. They're almost like shortbread, but they're not quite. They're a little bit softer than traditional shortbread and not quite as sweet. But I would try the recipe that I was using. I would probably try to add more butter, maybe a little more liquid. These are definitely dunkable. They're a little bit on the dry side. They do remind me. Has anybody ever tried hardtack?
So Civil War reenacting this weekend.
Yes,
guys. So remember, hardtack is a thing they did.
I used to be part of the pirate community here in Memphis, as did Lauren. And we had a picnic, and I do believe Mr. Fish brought hardtack. It was very difficult to eat because you had to dunk it, but it was, everybody else was like,
soak. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
So in addition to the traditional soul cakes, I made ghosts and planchettes because, you know, souls. So I thought they were cute.
Cute.
I like the theme. It's fun.
Lauren, did you get a chance to try yours?
I have not yet. I was half waiting for the show, but then I forgot to bring it over here. So I'm thinking
No,
about
that's fine.
abandoning ship to go get it real quick.
If you do, grab something to drink with it. I kid you not. It is very dry. It is so dry. I do not recall them. I am thinking that my grandmother made them with a lot more butter.
I'm leaving. I'll be right back.
Okay. It's okay. We can see boobs.
Oh, mine or no? Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Just like, wait, what?
So,
is there one falling out that we need to be aware of?
So, like in Civil War times, I'm considered basically a Scarlet because, yeah, you could see my ankles and everything,
Oh,
and this is a little
Taboo.
low.
Ooh,
I
how
actually had somebody.
scandalous.
I was walking past somebody and they were like, "Sorry, cat."
Welcome to our show. This seems very
right.
appropriate.
Perfect.
So, we were walking down the little strip, and all of a sudden, do you see what she's wearing? Is she
Hooker.
wearing sandals? And my husband just looks at me like, Jesus wore sandals. We're not super religious, but Jesus wore sandals is an acceptable response in that. Sorry, my cat really wants like this is
The cat on. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to mention another Scottish Halloween tradition. Is one that's a bit odd, even stranger than most things. There's such a thing as kale pooling.
As what?
It's kale pooling, pooling like to pull out of the ground. Kale, as in the vegetable.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Pooling.
Yes.
Kale pooling.
So yeah,
I love how
kale
you
pooling
talk.
is something you do on Halloween. It's supposed to tell you what your lover's going to look like.
This is my new
Whether
favorite
they're going to
holiday.
be tall or they're going to be short, whether they'll be chunky or slender or the sort. But you're meant to pull a piece of kale out of the garden and look at it on Halloween night, and it's supposed to tell your future as to what your lover's supposed to be like. There's actually a Robert Burns poem, Halloween, in which he mentions that particular
I love
fun
that.
little Halloween activity that you can do.
That's so cool. When I was doing,
Kale?
hang on, now I can't swallow. Hang on.
I know. I told you it's dry.
You're-
While you're doing that, let me. So, Acuff Creations. This is Keisha Acuffs, and I wanted to introduce her very quickly so people would know who we're speaking with. Hi.
I've never met you either.
Now, are you? Can you tell us a little bit about your association with Back at the Cereal Box and what programs you're on?
So I am on Cryptid Crunch. So I get to talk about all the cryptidy things, which is an amazing show, and it's really fun to be on. So I actually, Lauren, was it you that I was talking to on TikTok? Okay. So like the other day she posted something on TikTok and I was like, so like, can I one day maybe be on your show? Cause I'm kind of fangirling. So I was like, so hi, I'm here.
Yay!
But I'm actually only on Cryptid Crunch right now. My skirt is stuck. Okay. But so that's my life. But I'm also part of the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network. If you guys know anything about that, Willow Schuyler is also a part of it. So that's actually how I got into the Back of the Cereal Box. Is, you know, I met all the people and I was like, hi. And I talk a lot, so
Welcome. We all do.
good. So what you're saying is we'll just have to like fight for it.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So on the kale topic, I'm jumping in. Sorry.
Go right ahead.
I did a bunch of research onto bobbing for apples, and originally, come to find out, it was like nothing to do with Halloween and all of that. It was like a love ritual. It was all about love and finding your soulmate and everything. I didn't know that when I was a kid. I was like, I just want to stick my head in a bucket of water.
Yeah, exactly.
But there were a bunch of different ways to play it. The two main ones were you would like each of the apples would signify a person, and you would bob for that specific apple. And if you like tried once and you didn't get it, or hang on, I wrote it down. I have notes here. If you tried once and you got it on the first try, you were fated. If you tried once, didn't get it, tried again, then you would date, but it would end up not being together. If you tried and finally made it on the third time or less, it ain't gonna happen, sister. I'm sorry. There was also different versions of this where instead of in a bucket of water, they were tied with string onto a line, and people would bob for them that way. And then there was the other version.
Upwards?
Yeah,
Okay.
bite upwards. And then the other way to play it was whoever gets the apple first, whoever bites an apple first, gets permission to be married next.
Kind of like catching the bouquet. Nothing like dunking your face in a bucket of water.
Everyone has been Julian.
I would always be alone.
It's better than snap apple, okay? That was also a tradition where it was like an apple on one end of a stick and then a lit candle on the other end of the stick, and then they would spin it around. You had to try and bite the apple and not burn your face off.
Where are you from?
That sounds awful.
That sounds barbaric. And awesome at the same time.
One of the other things that they did with the strings was called treacle scones. And treacle
I saw
scones
that.
is where you take a scone, which is kind of like a biscuit, what you would call a biscuit, not like the cookie, but the biscuit. You take a scone and you cover it in treacle, which is sort of like molasses, but no. And you tie it to a string and hang it, and you would try to get it without making too much of a mess. And the first person to get it, and you try to get the whole scone, not just a bite of the scone. And depending upon where you were from, would be telling you the same thing as with the apple. So if you get it a whole scone, then it's the person that you want to date. Or if you get part of the scone, then you might get their attention, but they would go with someone else, and so on and so forth. So I suppose, you know, in the days when they didn't have televisions and they didn't have a whole lot to do, you have to have something to amuse yourself. And so these games came about, and they're telling the future without getting yourself in trouble with the local church. So
Fun ways to be witchy with not being. I'm not a witch.
Precisely.
It's a
What
party
are you
game.
talking about?
It's a
Oh,
party
no.
game. Everyone's
I'm just going to tell
there's
you, my
there's
family
so much
is
superstition in all of Ireland and Scotland. There's so much superstition, masses and masses of superstition. You can talk to people now, and they'll tell you, "No, I'm not about to tempt a fairy. No, no, I don't care. No." They'll say, "Oh no, I don't believe it," and "No, I don't believe it." I do, because no one's going to go out there and say something like that out loud. They're just not, because it's better safe than sorry when this is the sort of thing that you grow up with. You know it's there. Even if it's not, you know, why tempt it? Just don't. Just don't. And at a time like Halloween, when it's supposed to be the veil being thin and the possibility of creepy crawlies and long-legged beasties out there, it's best not to tempt them.
My family is from the South, and quite honestly, we are very superstitious ourselves, and we have a lot of similar superstitions that coincide with Irish and Scottish superstitions, quite specifically the fairies. It's interesting because my daughter has had fairy rings in her yard, and she's like, "Don't go in the fairy ring, don't touch the fairy ring, don't do anything with the fairy ring." But yeah, we are very our family is very extremely superstitious. We are in that category of not a witches. It's like if you called anybody in my family a witch, they would lose their absolute mind. But the truth is, they're all a bunch of kitchen witches. There's no way of getting around it. It's like my grandmother, specifically my mother. I remember my mother telling me to cast spells without telling me we're casting spells. I mean, I know this for a fact. I'm like, my mother's like telling me, it's like, "Oh, you have a sty in your eye? Go to a crossroads. Say this." I'm like, "No, Mom, I'm not casting spells. Thank you very much." She's like, "It's not a spell. It's not a spell. It's just getting rid of the sty in your eye." I'm like, "No, Mom, that's a spell. Thank you."
That's
Where were you like a year ago when I had this huge sty in my eye? Like,
Oh, I could have helped you with this. I honestly could have helped you with this. I could have given you the right mud to rub on it and told you the right things to say, and it would have been gone. I promise you.
I would have loved that. So my grandma and my aunt were they practiced witchcraft. So when I was growing up, I got, they used to tie their wedding ring to a string, and we'd be able to tell what kind of kids, how many kids, that kind of stuff. And like they'd have seances, and they'd have all their friends over, and they'd have like little witchy circles, and my grandma was the best.
Yeah,
go for it.
Now, I will say this in reference to seances, Ouija boards. My grandmother was like, do not, under any circumstance. Magda, I see it. It's like you don't use a Ouija board. It's like it's like you don't open. There are some doors you just don't open. And the truth is, to this day, I will not. I have a Ouija board. I have a handcrafted original Ouija board, but it has never been used. I will not buy a used one. And I have stories about that, and that's a totally different show. But I strongly believe do not play with things like Ouija boards because we don't fully stop it, Lauren. Stop it.
I'm not laughing at you. There's no. It's a Luigi board. Have you ever used a wedgie board?
That's what me and my son call it.
If you look it up online, there's a video you can find where someone goes through all of like, I think it's like Yahoo questions or something of people trying to ask about Ouija boards, but they don't know how to spell Ouija. And so it's like, has anyone ever used a wedgie board? A Luigi board?
Let me pick that out of my butt first.
And it's this guy reading all of these people trying to ask questions about Luigi boards or an Ouija board.
I'm sorry, but if I had a Luigi board, that would be pretty sweet. And yes, my grandma and my aunt were completely against Ouija boards. They would, if we even brought one into the house, they would freak out and try to burn it.
What was the reason? I'm generally because we always tried to do. First of all, Parker Brothers made one. Was it Parker Brothers made one? And
Milton
my neighbors,
Bradley.
Milton Bradley. Yes, they're all of the gaming companies. All of the game companies had a Ouija board. Our neighbors that live next door. I'm sorry.
They still have them at Target
and Walmart.
Oh, I just can't. I'm like, first of all, if this is where you're buying your Ouija board, it was like me going, I went to Spirit, and I know, Kat, you're not a fan of Spirit. We'll talk about that later because I have discovered I'm really not a fan of Spirit this year either. But we went to Spirit, and I was looking, and they had tarot cards, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if this is where you are buying your tarot cards, there is something really wrong. But no, Ouija boards, I'm just curious, what... My next door neighbor always wanted to play. No Barbies, no Barbie Ouija. Okay,
I love it.
I'm sorry.
My next door neighbor. Show it again, real quick. Come back.
Barbie. Barbie Ouija.
I need some Barbie Ouija in my life.
I would play with that. I would not play with that. No, my next door neighbor always wanted to play with it. They had one. My mother was like, no, we do not play. What was the reasoning?
You know what? I actually never got the full story, but my aunt would quite literally, if like we brought up, even because me and my friends used to make homemade ones and stuff. Yeah, we weren't super smart.
Glass?
No, just like out of paper and stuff like that. But we used to play with it. And one time, so I used to practice when I was younger, and I even had like a book on how to use it and everything. And my mom and my aunt found it. I have never heard them scream so loudly in their entire lives. I think I got threatened by my mom and my aunt at like the same time. It was awful. They were like, we're burning this right now. Get this out of my house. This is not something you mess with. And they were like, it's just bad juju all around. Sorry.
Hi, Kat.
Leave that kitty in there.
But so they just freaked out. She's like loving on the camera.
Sorry.
So
we can see you. Oh God, there's a cat butt.
How taboo? Just stick your rear end on in there.
Not that kind of video, kitty.
So she messed up my screen, and I can't see anything anymore.
We can still see you.
Oh, Kitty, I love you, but you need to Cruella.
I see whiskers now.
So I never actually got the full story. They just freaked out on me and told me that they were going to burn it in the yard. The only reason that they did not burn it is because I convinced them that the book and everything was my friend's from school, and she was going to get in trouble if we burned it. So the next day I actually brought it to my friend at school, and she kept it in her locker. I think I actually still have it somewhere. I think she saved it for me and gave it back. It's probably in like one of my totes or something. So if I find it, I'll show you guys.
I will say this. My grandmother and mother's reasoning was 100% that a Ouija board opens doors, and that who you are talking to through the Ouija board is not always who you think it is. And generally,
that was mentioned.
right. And generally, it is a method of divination through demonology. And so my mother and my grandmother were very, very, it's like, no, you don't do those. You don't. And I recently, and I think I can't remember, I shared this with you, Lauren, if I shared this with my daughter, Scarlett, but it was a person that was on TikTok that was talking about opening doors and welcome mats and how demons operate and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've never quite heard it put that way. I'll have to find that and share it, like link it through the notes or something here. But it was a very, you don't use them, you don't play with them. And honestly, of course, when you're younger, you're like, oh no, I'm not. It's like, mom doesn't know what she's talking about. Of course, mom doesn't.
Leave the kitty alone.
It's like, mom never knows what she's talking about, so I'm going to play with it. And I had a friend of mine that she and I used to use one on a regular basis. And we were able to get it to move without either one of us touching it. And it freaked us out. I mean, not even hands completely off. And it was one of those experiences that has shaped the way that I view them from that point on. And I think I was in the range of 13, which is another conversation that Lauren and I were having last night about young girls, specifically girls in the age bracket of 13, having a connection with the supernatural that is not always explainable. Look, she's saying yes. You've heard this too, then.
Not only that, in my case, I have a little extra bit of creepiness in that my 13th birthday was on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, fun!
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun birthday.
It's actually a lovely day, oddly enough. It's not bad at all. For some reason, 13's always been a very good number for me. It's worked out well. It's never been anything hard or creepy or terrible, but I had heard before that particularly either just prepubescent or pubescent girls are supposed to be especially vulnerable to sorts of spirits and any number of things beyond the veil, because there's that women in general tend to be looked upon as the ones who are in touch with things from the other side, because we ourselves bring life to the world. And as a result, we constantly have one foot in either side. And I've always agreed with that. I've always found that women tend to be more sensitive. We tend to notice things, we see things, we feel things that others don't.
That's why we're in charge.
Well, honestly, that's been referred to as women's intuition for centuries.
So, well, for the longest time, the witches, the wise women, were the ones that everyone went to, and they were never looked upon as something bad or something evil. They were the ones you went to because they knew everything. They knew how to cure a fever. They knew how to and when to sow the crops. They knew everything that had to do with the wheel of time, everything that had to do with the wheel of the year and the movement of life and birth and death and all of that going in a circle. So it made sense. But at the same time, that can be very threatening. And I can see why that will be terrifying to most people.
Especially
to know that
men.
Exactly. That we know something that not only they don't know, but they can't know ever. No matter how hard they try, they're not going to learn these things because they aren't built for it. It's understandable.
I was told at one point that 13 was a year for when women were growing that they would be more susceptible to stuff like that because it's the transition year between, and this is very old talk here, okay?
Oh, no.
It was the transition women for quite a long time, or believed to be, for when they go from childhood into womanhood, was at that age. And so they were in the middle between both of them. And so a lot of people would think they were in the middle between worlds as well. And a lot of that has to do with why the age was so significant, at least back in the older times.
But
not saying that's good now.
No, but truthfully, that there is something to be said for that, because if you think about it, when you have a young child that hits the age of 13, there's a lot of confusion, because there is, as a mother who has a young daughter, now she is over the age of 13 now, but 13, they're still trying to decide if they want to play with toys or if they want to start wearing makeup. And it's somewhere between the two. And there is a transition stage. And I know that happens at different times for every young woman. But for some of them, 13 has been significantly you are no longer a child at 12, and you are now you are no longer a tween, you are no longer a child, you are now moving into your teenage years. And that also associates with a lot of things that come with being adult. But okay, so I do have another video.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I made suckers. I don't know if has anybody ever tried making suckers? I know. Okay. These are burnt sugar suckers. I love burnt sugar is one of my favorite flavors ever. And so I made some burnt sugar suckers. And I have a video. So
The ending was fabulous.
This part.
Yes.
but these were a lot of fun
all
to
the
make.
boys to the yard.
No, not at all. Not at all. Why?
And some girls.
These were a lot of fun to make. I was not expecting these to be as fun as they were. Because anytime you start dealing with like cooking sugar, it becomes almost like molten lava. And it's like, don't spill it, don't touch it. And of course, when we were doing the floss, the candy floss was a lot of fun, because we were able to like pull it and like shape it. And it kind of gave you an idea of how they make like holiday ribbon candy and stuff. It was so much fun to play with. And I have a ton of these right now. Yeah, I don't need to be eating these things, but I'm going
I'm
to.
not allowed to have
Mm.
sugar.
Oh,
I live a very sad existence of no carbs, no flour, no sugar, no salt, etc. I basically eat fruits and vegetables, which is good because I've been a vegan vegetarian for over 15 years. But you know, I need my carbs and my sugar, guys. I
I'm gonna
would
put this
love a
sucker down then.
donut. Oh no,
Oh
you're
my
fine.
God.
I'm just
What-
jealous.
I think it's time to be
Keep
a
eating
rebel.
it.
Just go and have a Rumspringer of sorts with
Oh, the
and
other day
booze
I
and
actually licked a cinnamon
boys
roll.
and I'm just kidding.
The other day I licked a cinnamon roll and it was like I could feel. Yep, I don't know.
It's like
I
I
can
licked
just
this cinnamon.
feel it.
That
was
is the
beautiful.
saddest story I think I've ever heard. You
I
would
licked
not-
a cinnamon.
No, the
It's-
saddest one was last.
Rump sugar.
if you were with me,
Friday.
I would be a terrible influence. I'd be like, "Come on, girl, we got stuff to try."
So
Wait a minute.
my
What the
son
hell is
had a-
rump sugar?
like
Rump-
Rumspringer, yeah, like Rumspringer.
Oh yes.
Because you look Amish,
like
and that's what they go
Oh, yeah.
nuts, and they have their Rumspringer where they get to play in technology and
I
all
was
the things.
picturing
In
butt
your case,
sugar.
it would be sugar, rump sugar.
I was
got
picturing butt sugar. I'm sorry. Why was I? And
So
I'm
on
like,
Friday, my son had a Boy Scouts thing, and he's 12, and they had this court of honors, and we went, of course. So they served, I swear, it was just crunched up Oreos with like cream and sugar, just like in a ball, and I was
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but I really want one. So I went up to my son like a normal human being at his court of honors thing, and I was like, can I just smell it? Like, just like put it right there. And his best friend looks at me and he's like, why? You're just torturing yourself. You can't taste it. And I
Can
was
lick
like,
it?
I really wanted to, but these are 12-year-old boys, and
What?
You're a much nicer mother than I could ever possibly make, because I would be that one. Be like, don't lick the what? Don't lick the microphone.
no, I did lick his
Oh, no.
Kool-Aid. So like they made that.
No,
They made
no. It wouldn't even been that. I would have been like slapping it
like a
out of their hand,
wallpaper.
going, "No, you don't get that. If I can't have it, you can't have it."
So they had like those Kool-Aids where you just dump the thing in the water and mix it together. And then my son and his friend decided to use the little thing, the plastic containers to put the drink back into.
Mm.
And I was like, can I see that for a second? And then I just took it from him and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. It's nothing but sugar. So needless to say, everybody at my son's Boy Scouts thing thinks I'm completely nuts, which is probably an accurate statement.
How do
But
you handle things like Halloween then that are nothing but sugary candy treats? I mean,
I cry in the bathroom.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's probably working for you if you're 125 and we're all like, oh, okay, it's, not eating the sugar and you get to
I'm
live to
30.
be like 150 and
I'm
look like
30,
you're
guys.
25 and it's
So,
working.
no.
But
I'm 30, so I just look like I'm 200 years old.
You don't look 200 now.
Oh,
I mean, the hairnet and the,
So
like
if
I
it
said-
makes
Wait,
you
what you're
feel any
saying.
better, I haven't showered in days because I was at the Civil War reenactment living in a tent. So this is the bare minimum you're ever gonna get. Like,
I'm not making that face. I'm totally making that
Okay.
face.
We need to invite her back for another episode that is not sugar candy based.
only if you do my only if you do my makeup though. 'Cause
oh, come over. We
I
shall
can't do
play.
makeup to save to save my life. Nope.
You said the wrong thing. Now you're gonna end up looking like
What state do you live in? Do you even live in a state?
no. I live a state of being.
She lives in fairyland.
Tennessee.
Okay, so like Illinois is just a 14
A
hour
hop,
drive.
skip, and a jump.
I have an entire shelf full of makeup. Not like, here's a drawer. I mean, like a floor to taller than me with drawers, shelf full of makeup, and I can make you look like whatever you want to look like.
I have
Come
one
play with me.
eyeliner and one mascara that I've
Oh,
had
it's
for
so
years.
sad. Define years. Throw that
By
shit away
years, I
now.
mean I probably should have thrown them out a long time ago because they probably are diseased by now.
Okay,
Well,
what's
hold on a second. I have a question for you then, because some people are rich with cosmetic, and some of us, but because of your Civil War reenacting, you probably have like instead of a whole cabinet of makeup, I have
I run a
cannons
farm.
in my
I've got
backyard.
70 chickens.
See, I knew there was something you had.
You have what?
70 chickens
70.
and 10 ducks and several bunnies and cats and an axolotl and an eyelash crested gecko and a chinchilla and probably some other things that I'm breeding.
I was okay
I
until
also
the
have a
chickens.
pet skunk.
I want
I
the
am-
pet skunk.
Its name is Flower.
Oh, my Bambi!
It lives in my barn for the last year and a half. It's never actually It's never actually sprayed us, so I allow its existence.
How many of the other animals has it sprayed though?
None.
Really?
Yes, honey.
Okay, so fun fact: I am terrified of chickens. Absolutely,
Are you really?
Yes.
You would hate my farm.
Not other birds though, because I know that some people are terrified of birds in general and will run away. It's like, no, I'm fine. I will hold a parrot. I will interact. It's like I am trying to attract crows to my yard because I want to be that person. I want to be able to go "Caw!" and then have like all of the crows just like come and
I
like
do that with my
surround.
chickens.
They like blueberries, crows, just FYI.
They like peanuts too, and I am trying to feed them. I have a crow call. I can actually crow call. It's very loud, but I do not. I'm not. It's like I will witch cackle on the air. I will not crow call on the air because it is extremely loud and annoying. But no.
And I'm over here.
No. I will not. Yeah, this is what I don't do. But yeah, I'll go into my backyard and like my side yard and I'll leave peanuts. And it's like I leave all of these little gifts for the crows. I try to put shiny things out for them to pick up. And whenever I leave food for the crows, I call to them and they are in the trees. So they're getting closer. And I have called to one and it got really angry at me and called back at me and then flew away. I do not know what I told it, but chickens terrify me. I want to be that woman in the yard, like in the neighborhood where everybody's like, don't go by that house. That's the witch's house. It's like, watch her. She calls crows. And all of a sudden she's like, ah! And it's like all of the crows come and there's like a swarm of crows or a murder of crows, whatever we want to call them. And they're flying all around and I want to have crows, but not chickens. And there are chickens in our neighborhood. So I'm a little scared that I'm going to go caw and there's going to be chickens.
She's going to caw one day and it's going to be...
I was going to say, be careful what you wish for. It's going to be like the birds. They're going to come out and attack you one day.
So, Jill.
I do have a story about chickens though, why I hate chickens. And I think at least this is why.
Why?
When I was like 4. Now, okay, once again, my grandmother, who is not the witch, walks into her chicken coop, draws a circle around the chicken on the ground. The chicken will not leave the circle. I promise you. The chicken will not. I don't okay, it won't. Okay, so the chicken will not cross the circle. And I'm like, you're a witch. She grabs the chicken and goes, wow, and wrings its neck. And then proceeds to butcher the chicken and then try to serve it to me. And I'm like, nope, I'm not eating that.
That's why you have been chicken since I was like 4 years old. Life.
You put a spell on that. If I eat that, you're going to spell me.
I know. It's like, if I eat that, what are you going to do to me? It's like, Grandma.
It was probably the best chicken. You probably just missed out on the best meal of your
Oh, God, you know it was. It was
those annoying people that come to your doors to sell you things?
Are we talking about Jehovah's Witness or?
No, I actually got a rejection letter from them. I have it in the box behind me. Seriously do.
How
It's
do you get a
ridiculous.
rejection letter from the Jehovah's Witness group?
I always
You
put out a
answer the door
warning to everybody
naked.
in the neighborhood.
Okay, that's the next story.
That will do
Okay.
What, answering the door naked?
No, that is the next story, guys. So there was a guy coming to sell supplemental life insurance. Yes, honey. Oh, thank you. She got me a piece of paper. Oh, it's a heart.
Oh,
But so they come to the door and they're trying to sell me supplemental insurance, and I, like the normal person living out in the middle of the boonies, I live on a farm, obviously. They're standing outside, and the guy, I have free range chickens, okay, and ducks, and I call them, and they all come flocking. This guy is explaining to me that he is terrified of chickens, and I'm like,
Like
okay.
Donna's or CL's
So
cousin.
I would have ran like hell.
and
oh my
they
gosh.
all came running, and I was like, don't worry, they won't hurt you. The only one that will is named Angel, because it literally is named Angel, and it is the spawn of Satan. But he's like, which one's Angel? I said, that one.
That
The
one.
one that was right behind him. And he's like, oh my God. And so my mom was visiting me, and she just like, she's like, I'm pretty sure that guy crapped his pants. So yeah, that poor guy, he's probably traumatized for the rest of his life. But I didn't buy the insurance, so
It's okay. That means he doesn't have to come back and visit Angel.
no, but
I've-
onto the Jehovah's Witness thing real quick, just because I want to get it out there. If you ever want to annoy the crap out of them, just be a more annoying religious group. I was Mormon.
Oh.
So
Fun.
they on the rejection note, so I asked them for a bunch of information, obviously, because I let them in like a good Mormon would. And I talked to them and I explained to them everything I believed in. And so what they did is, I'm gonna have to find the note somewhere, but it says, we don't see a reason for coming back. You seem completely content with what you are doing, and we are looking for people that are searching for something to believe in or searching for something else and all this other stuff. And they were like, here's the information you requested, and they taped it to my door. I've never heard from them ever again. So
That's not bad.
It's probably one set though. I give it like another year, and you'll have a whole new set.
it
who they
has
didn't
been
pass the note
11
to.
years.
I've always just been
Yeah,
waiting for
11
that
years.
moment, the perfect moment where they come knocking at the door and I just happen to be topless, carrying a butcher knife covered in blood with
Does
like
that
a
happen
dead
often with
chicken or so. Well, but,
I hope you have a Ring camera when you do that,
Wait a
Lauren.
minute, wait a minute.
From the other side of the door.
You just answer the door and you're like,
Watch
Kuisha, you don't showed up at the right time.
it.
We're about to have some fun in here, guys.
no, last time I was fully clothed, I just had a lot of cleavage and I offered them a beer. And they were like, okay, thanks, bye.
Thanks. We'll try again later.
Nice to
Y'all
meet you.
must have come for the seance that we're about to have. The new seance.
Done that. Sorry, what?
I told my husband if he ever sees them coming down the neighborhood to tell me so I can prepare, because I will go
Strip
back
down.
there. Yes, just throw.
See, I'm the
stuff off.
opposite. I'm the one that'll get on like Facebook and be like, "Hey, you're welcome. By the way, somebody's knocking at your door."
Oh,
Oh no,
my gosh,
I
no.
recall like
Wanted.
Jehovah's Witnesses visiting my parents' house, and my mother, it's like, don't go through the living room, and if you do, crawl so they don't see you. And I remember crawling through the living room at one point because they were in the neighborhood. It's like they weren't even at our house; they were in the neighborhood. Greet them at
They're
the door and
probably-
ask them if they like strippers for if they're the strippers for the party.
Oh, you know what? That'd be kind of interesting. Most of the ones that come to my house are like women, though.
Then ask them if they're
Acceptable.
the
I'm
strippers
okay with
for the
it.
party.
I'm okay with it. So
Yeah.
Just
I
different
try
types of
really,
strippers.
really, really hard to be tolerant of other people's views and religions until they're not tolerant of my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, I'm just like, you messed up.
It's
I'm
all
one of those-
It's on now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, everybody knows they're pushy. So it's just one of those things where you just don't want to answer the door. I don't need a used car salesman pitch on, somebody's beliefs. And
Do you need an afterlife? Well,
Yes.
if you do,
I don't
Mormons are
actually-
fun too, though.
I don't think you know what? I look at it this way. It for them, they have to there's an element of it's what they do. They want to stop and they want to talk. And I have actually opened the door and talked to them before. And sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes you're just like, okay, thank you. But I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. You really never know who you're going to meet.
Sometimes I
always-
get told I'm going to hell a lot.
yeah, that's the one I get because, like,
Or they'll
typically,
pray for me.
yeah.
I have never been told that I'm going to hell, with the exception of by my family. So that's a different story. Okay, so I have a couple of more questions. We got a moment for some goth trivia.
let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, so what serial killer died of natural causes in 1989 after spending the last 27 years in a state mental institution? And I'll drop a big hint. He has been the subject of many, many movies, including Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, not the F word.
No, not the F word. I'm sorry, what?
Gein?
Ed Gein?
Ed Gein. Ed Gein, yes.
I was sitting here going,
Magda,
Didn't
please tell
I
me you
miss
like
that long?
Googled it because my brain was
No.
broken.
Well,
No.
and last night I
This
mentioned
is what's in my head.
I mentioned head neck, and so my brain, I'm still sitting there looking at the answer. I'm like, is it head neck? So I'm like, I don't know why my head was there, but what did Joy Division proclaim would tear us apart?
Oh, love.
Love.
Yes. Oh, fish head egg. There you go. Name the Tale of Insanity by Edgar Allan Poe, in which the main character hears the beating of a dead heart.
Telltale
Telltale
Heart.
Heart.
Yeah,
That's probably my favorite. I love that one.
that one was easy though.
The one with Lenore in it.
Name the black metal band. These member that. I'm sorry. It's the smallest print. I'm like, even with glasses, I don't know I could read this. Name the black metal band by these members. I can't. I see one that I can pronounce. Faust. Is
Is it
Ills-
Megadeth? No,
no.
No, that's not
No.
Megadeth.
Tyrum
that was just the first thing that came to mind.
Samoth.
If we ask Joey the Roadie this one, I just got a text. That's probably him.
Joey the
that's-
Roadie.
Nope. Oh, hey, we want Jersey
Do we
on?
want the jersey
Why?
in?
Why?
Yes, is the
Bring
jersey
it.
with us?
Yes, he's
Bring it,
on.
bring it,
One,
bring it.
two, bring it.
Come on.
We had a Jersey Devil question, and I was like, "We know him. We know him."
And I completely blanked. I'm sitting here like, Jason Vargas. What?
I didn't crack.
Give me a moment.
While we're waiting on the Jersey Devil to be brought in, is he here?
I told
Cabana
him
Boy,
bring
send me a
it.
text. Oh, okay, so he's coming. All right, so I have to ask, what are your memories of trick or treating as a young child? Was it good? Was it bad? What did you do? What was your experience? What is different now versus then?
Now or then people actually like decorated and were into Halloween.
Put in effort.
Yeah,
I
put
remember
in
homemade
effort.
costumes and stuff like that, and now you're just like, oh, here's a $50 costume from the store.
Dude, my first cosplay was a Halloween costume, and a lot of people will be like, "That's not a cosplay," but I'm sorry, I sat there
Yes, it is.
and hand sewed leaves onto wig and a leotard, and I found boots that were like one size too small, and I went trick-or-treating anyway, dang it. And I was Poison Ivy, okay?
I was gonna say, were you green?
Lovely.
I was Poison Ivy. And it was my first, like, I want this character. And I didn't realize that. I thought, I didn't know what cosplay was, but that was my first, like, cosplay. I wanted to be Poison Ivy. That's my main biggest memory. It was also one of the crappiest Halloweens I ever had, too. But
walking around in a too tight, yes, that would be awful.
Took my kids trick-or-treating last year. Was a great time. They stole so much candy from the other kids. Oh, that's awful. That's called bag snatching.
Is it? There's a
Has
name for
ever
that?
bag snatch? Yes.
I was bag snatched.
I grew up in the 70s, and there were a lot of things that we did that I think that a lot of you guys probably didn't experience. But bag snatch, I mean, trick-or-treating was a huge thing when I was growing up. We not only trick-or-treated our neighborhood, we would start at like 6 o'clock in the evening, and we would go to like a bunch of different neighborhoods. Our parents went with us. It was always the whole concept of trunk or treating did not exist. But with that, no, do not knock trunk or treating. Do not knock trunk or treating, because you will get a ton of candy. It's a lot of fun if you go to the right ones. It's a lot of fun. And I have actually organized and participated, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it. But no, we used to, it's like we would get it together as a group. We would go trick-or-treating. But with that said, I also grew up in the era in which poison candy, razor blades and candy, and candy checks. I mean, I remember one time, my kids are 23 and 26. There you go. So it was unfair. Yeah. No, we get it. No. My kids are in the same. Those 5-year-olds did zero chance.
Yep. That's what parents are.
That's really kind of sad. That is sad.
That's what parents are supposed to do. Like, bring me all the candy, kids, when y'all are done at the end
it's
of the
called a
night.
candy tax.
I think he means the 23-year-olds were like stealing candy from the 5-year-olds.
Oh, okay. I thought he meant his kids were taking.
Or like, they. Sorry, I don't know who this person is. I shouldn't assume.
Quite honestly, as a parent, I would welcome that. I'm like, come on, bring it on, because you have no earthly idea what you are walking into.
So I live near.
I would chase you down, and you will have nightmares.
We will hunt you.
In the Memphis Bartlett area, there's a place called Halloween Cove. If you want to look it up, it's Domino Cove. They go all out every year. It is absolutely insane. Every house in this cove goes nuts. I mean, animatronics, huge decorations, life-size skeletons, life-size Halloween everything.
The lights are synced, and
the lights are synced. It is nuts. They have thousands upon thousands of people who come there Halloween night every single year, and they to the point where they have like donation buckets out, so you can donate candy so they don't run out.
That's awesome.
So the kids can still keep getting candy, and it's super fun. I went not last year, but the year before, and okay, so you guys know who Bushmen are. There's like a pile of bushes, and one of them wears a little net over them. It looks like part of the bushes, and they back into the
like a ghillie suit.
Yeah, like the guys they're like crouched down. They wear something that looks like a bush, and then they like grab people and shake them and scare them. Yeah, I'm around. I don't know how many hundreds upon thousands of children walking around trick-or-treating with my kids, and some dude reaches out, jumps out from the bush that I am directly next to and scares me, and I scream an F-bomb at the top of my lungs in front of all of these children, and he was just like,
it's understandable.
Yeah.
And he went back into the bushes, and I'm sitting there like, I'm just gonna keep going.
You know what? If you are doing an attraction, if you're doing a home attraction like that, and you're jumping out and scaring people, you should expect that somebody is going to drop. Oh yes.
It's gonna happen.
I love the Cove. We go to the Cove every year. I've been visiting for years, and I've always been curious because there used to be Counter to that, in Parkway Village here in the Memphis area, there used to be a Christmas Cove.
Christmas
where
Cove, yeah.
So every house was decorated, and it was actually part of the homeowners association that when you bought into that cove, you actually had to sign as part of your contract that you would participate in the Christmas Cove. And I'm curious if the Halloween Cove people do that. So if anybody,
I don't know. There's one house that like when you, here's the cove and it goes around this way. There's one house on the corner here who's very much like, we bought this lot. Here's some stuff. It's the one house who's like, okay, we did cardboard cutouts of tombstones. Can you please not? And they don't stand out front and hand out candy. They're the only house who's not like out there with everyone. Because even like, here's the cove. Even the houses across from the cove, like, they partnered up and they like built a fence together across their two houses and went all out to do. So it's like the cove and these two houses. This is big conglomeration of everything happy in Halloween. But there's one house is just like, we were not expecting it. Like when we when we bought here, like we didn't know it was going to be this much. Yeah. And see, I would trade houses. I would trade houses. And
I would, oh God, I would live there in a heartbeat. And I'm just like, I'm going to set up my graveyard, and it's going to be there all year long. And the only thing that's going to change is I'm going to put Santa Claus in the background, and then I'm going to switch that out for the Easter bunny. And it's going to be a blood dripping Easter bunny, and y'all are just going to have to deal with it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And if I do that here, I get the cops called on me. What in the world? And you think that they would know by now. Don't call the cops if the cops answer the door. You would think. It's like, oh my God, we're responding to that house again.
Oh, it's that person.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever been to it's called the Pumpkin House in West Virginia. It's in Canova, West Virginia. Okay, so
is it made out of a pumpkin or pumpkins?
So what they do is every year for Halloween, they have everyone pretty much in the entire area come to their house and they carve the pumpkin. If anybody has the interweb, I'm on my phone. And they all carve pumpkins and they decorate their entire house, has thousands of pumpkins behind it. And I lived right next to that house when I was in Canova. And it was my favorite. Like me and my friends would,
Spell Canova.
No, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Okay, so it's called the Pumpkin House, I believe. And they have pumpkins all over their house and all over the yard. They actually have people come and carve the pumpkins to donate them. And then they leave them up for a really long time. And then they have this big celebration. And it was always my favorite time of the year because it was right next door. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is.
That is insane.
That is, yes. I have always wanted to visit that place. And
I've always a pumpkin for that place.
Oh, I want to carve a pumpkin for that place.
So did they use? Okay, wait. So did they use flame?
They individually light. The ones that I know of, they individually light.
Yes. Oh,
so like real fire. Yay.
Oh,
It looks like real fire because it's all different like degrees of burnage going here.
My grandchild would just want to know when the house fire was happening.
People actually spend they take weeks off at a time and they just sit there and carve pumpkins for this place. And it was beautiful. I have pictures of me and my friends in front of the house. I'll have to find them because it was my favorite place to live ever.
I bet that smells. I love the smell. Like when you light a jack-o'-lantern and you pull the lid off, that burnt smell. And I have been asking for years if anybody knows of a candle that actually smells like the inside of the burnt jack-o'-lantern. And you guys know what I'm talking about.
We have 70 pumpkins right now because we grow our own pumpkins. And then we also have gourds that we grow as well because my entire front yard is decorated in the Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Okay, party at your house.
Yeah,
Let's
we
do
need
this.
pictures.
Go.
So we go all out for holidays, and especially Halloween, because we are obsessed with Halloween. Obviously, I'm here, guys. So, but yes, definitely come to our house. I went into labor on Halloween, and I was so excited because I was like, I'm gonna have my baby on Halloween. She took 24 hours to come, so she's November 1st.
All Saints Day, baby.
It's an All Saints. That's that, I don't know. That's pretty cool too. So I would be okay with either or.
But my
Okay,
son was
so-
really excited about a sister being born on Halloween, so it didn't happen.
What is the theme for our next show? I cannot comprehend it or pull it up into my brain right now.
Okay, so our next show in 2 weeks, I have got confirmation that we are going to have special guests. Stephen Gunther, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name. Gunther, and then Tanya Vestenberg. I know I'm mispronouncing the name, but they are with Historical Haunts here in Memphis.
Okay.
And we are doing, dun, 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 we're going to do a paranormal investigation, guys.
Okay.
Who wants to go
fun.
ghost hunting?
I want to go ghost
Van
hunting.
Vandersteeg. I'm sorry. I just got that from, I know I was going to trip over that, but yes, we are going to try to coordinate. We are working on trying to coordinate right now a paranormal investigation. Yes, Lauren, is your hand up?
Sorry. I'm very excited about the pumpkin
she's crying.
thing. I'm not crying, guys. No, I'm just saying, like, the next show is very close to Halloween, and hey, we all really like Halloween, and oh, look, there's pumpkins around. Can we all carve a pumpkin and show it? And that'll be like our thing? Yes. Okay, thanks. That's all I wanted. Thanks, guys.
We will do that as our pre-show chat. We can have a pumpkin and we can carve it and we can show it. Okay, so that's cool. And if y'all want to make a video of you carving it, do that. That's fine. But we are going to. I'm working with these guys. Historical Haunts here in Memphis. They are pretty much the go-to organization if you want to do a paranormal investigation. The Cabana Boy actually used to do haunted tours with them. I know several people who did. So there's a lot of history. They're also working on putting together a brand new tour that we are not going to want to miss. And I'm going to let them talk to you about that. But yes, please, Stephen and Tanya will be joining us in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, I will be trying to get information together so we can go on a paranormal investigation. It's not going to be like an overnight. It's going to be a couple of hours and we will film it. And there will be fun stuff and I will let you know. So that is what we are working on right now. So, but honestly, just real quick, I want to say we are at the top of 2 hours, guys.
Oh gosh.
I
didn't even talk about half my notes.
I didn't either. I have all of the true crime information about the candy poisoning from trick or treating. It's like multiple accounts. And I was going to talk about going to the hospital to have my candies x-rayed. That was a thing one year. Like in the 80s, you would take it was like you would go to the emergency
fire
room.
station. And
Yes.
take your candy too.
You would take your candy and they would x-ray it. And I had all of that information and we just didn't quite make it there. But by gosh, it was fun.
What time is it?
Go ahead.
I'm going to do this like speed fast because I'm never going to talk about apples again. So, all right. Let's go. We already went over bobbing for apples. I'm going to go over it. Yeah, now I'm blurry. Great. It's fun. Cool. All right. Candy apples. William W. Kolb, Kolb, Newark, New Jersey, in 1908. He actually was looking for a way to sell his cinnamon candies. Could not figure out a good strategy for selling them for the Christmas season. So he put them on a bunch of apples, put them in the storefront. They were never made to be actually edible, but people thought they looked pretty and wanted to eat them. So, hey, candy apples were invented. Awesome.
Is that like Red Hots?
Yeah, it's kind of like the cinnamon Red Hots color. Also,
right.
Candy apples were the inspiration in the next few years for a lot of big fashion trends. That candy apple nail polish, lipstick, car color. A lot of stuff came from that. All right, skipping ahead, we're going to go on to the, we're going to go back to the late 1700s called poison apple. Europeans feared tomatoes back in the day, calling them a poison apple because they thought that eating the tomatoes were killing the aristocrats and making them sick. Wasn't the tomatoes, it was the pewter plates, really high in lead, but they called them the poison apple. Super fun.
Quick question.
Yes.
And Magda, you'll probably notice. Are tomatoes are part of the nightshade family, correct?
Hi, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
All right. Which would be deadly nightshade, but not tomatoes. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Fun. Okay, we already talked about Snapapple and the Celtic holiday Samhain. Let's go ahead to Alan Turing. On June 7th, 1954, he was 42 years old. He was found dead. Beside him was a half-eaten apple. The idea or one of the theories on his death was he poisoned himself with cyanide on the poisoned apple because he had a fascination with the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, especially the queen scene and the poisoned apple and all of that. People will fight that on the other side and be like, oh no, it was an accident. He was a scientist and he messed with chemicals. But like, it's a huge conspiracy kind of thing. Like, no, he poisoned an apple and he committed suicide, or he unalived himself. Yes.
Okay, question about this is cyanide. So this is like lightning round right now. We are lightning round talks.
Go.
Cyanide, isn't that something that you would use during the Victorian era, and that you would like basically stick your finger in it, put it on your tongue, and it would give you that deathly pale pallor? Does that sound right?
Cyanide?
Arsenic. Not cyanide. Arsenic.
Arsenic. Thank you. Arsenic. It was arsenic. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. That's where my brain went. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Okay, so along with the line of poisoned apples, apple seeds are also poisonous, but you have to ingest a crap load of them. If you're a full-grown human, you've got to eat about like 30 or more of those suckers, and you can't just be swallowing the seeds. You really got to like crunch them, break them up. You swallow an apple seed, you're fine. You sit there and make an apple seed smoothie out of like 50 apples and chug them. Goodbye, sailor. Let's see
and
here.
If you eat the apples, it'll grow in your stomach.
Yes, and they will not grow in your stomach.
Watermelon. Never mind.
All right. Last but not least, we're going to jump on to the topic of actually Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with the poisoned apple, because, oh my gosh, I'm so sick and tired of everyone thinking that the poisoned apple is like the one staple for Snow White. No, sir, ma'am, or they, them. It is not. The queen tried to kill Snow White with a bodice and tried to like tighten it too much and suffocate her to death. She tried to poison a comb and stabbed it into her head. Plus, there was never a kiss. Death by corset. It is a thing. There was never a kiss with the prince kissed her and she woke up. The prince never even met her. The prince met a corpse and he was like, oh, that's a pretty corpse. I'm going to take it back to the castle. Hey guys, can I take this back to the castle? And the dwarves are like,
necrophilia?
Right? The dwarves were like, yeah, no, that's a great idea. Let's take this dead corpse back to the castle because the prince thinks she's pretty. The entire idea behind the apple was she ate the apple. Well, she was actually a little hesitant to eat the apple because at this point she'd already been like attempted killed twice now. She's like, oh, I don't know if I should eat this apple from another stranger who's come to my door randomly in the middle of the woods. And the witch was like, oh, well, no, look, watch. I'll eat some of the apple.
And look, creepy witch in the middle of the woods. I'm going to eat the apple. You eat the apple. Apple's right? Eat the apple. Look, I'm good.
See, I'm going to eat this side that's not all like weird and red, and you can eat the red side. See, it's fine because the apple was only like half poisoned. It ended up, the whole reason she woke up and all of that was because on the trip, when the prince thought that she was so pretty, she needed her deadness back at the castle because of her prettiness. One of the servants tripped and dropped the casket and dislodged the apple, and she woke up and the prince was like, oh, did you know that I'm in love with you? And she's like, I don't know who you are, but let's get married. And that's the entire idea behind Snow White. And I'm done.
Is that the Grimm's fairy tale version? That's the original.
Okay. I have the Grimm's upstairs. I'm gonna have to read it.
Oh, there's more. She has a sister, Rose Red. There's a lot more to Snow White.
That's my favorite movie. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen that?
Oh yes.
Are you talking about like the creepy?
There's two different ones. There is the Stephen King version that came out in the 1990s. Yeah. And then there was another version that came out a couple of years ago.
But, no, I'm talking about like way back in the day.
Made for TV version from I'm getting notification it's time to wrap up.
Thank you for letting me have my lightning round. Sorry. I just did too much research on apples.
Like, I did so much research on apples, guys.
I know. I'm like, I really just want to go. Poison candy was a myth, by the way. No child was ever poisoned by candy. Nobody was ever given drugs as candy, by the way, that cost a lot of money. Right? Just going to say, who's going to give away their drugs? And then, so there are some real cases of, and the big one was in 1964, not 1964, it was in 1974, and it was a man by the name of Ronald O'Brien who was trying to kill his family and kill his son and get like tax or get the insurance for it. But he was the reason why Halloween was ruined and trick-or-treating was ruined. We
Parent
blame
of
you.
the year.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Ronald
right.
O'Brien. That's his name.
Won the
Halloween
award.
was messed up by Ronald O'Brien. So I'll stop there.
Agree.
But thank you. First of all, thank you to Brimstone for joining us this evening. He is no longer with us, but thank you. Thank you, Keisha, for jumping in and joining us as well. Thank you for Joey the roadie, who helped put together some awesome video and sampled. And thank you, Kat. And I'm sure that your family was involved in the process of making these videos as well. Magda, thank you for having. By the way, thank you for jumping in spur of the moment and reading for us. And as always, I want to say, I can't remember if I thanked Johnny. God, my brain is fried now. Thanks, Johnny, for allowing us, and Back of the Cereal Box for allowing us to do this, because without them, we would not know what to do with ourselves. And we just have way too much fun doing this. And thanks to Toy Robot, Visual Arts, and the Cabana Boy upstairs, who is working all of the behind the scenes. If you want to support us, there's a little ticker that's running across the bottom that you can buy us a cup of coffee. You can buy it for our show. You can buy it for a network. You can buy it for an individual person. Tip us. We like money. We need support. We need you to help us. Please. Thank you. If you have an idea that you would like to talk about, send us a message. If you think you would be a good guest to be on our show, send us a message. We are always looking for great ideas, and we will invite you, and you will have a fun time. We will wear you out. It will be a blast. And with that said, is it?
I know. I think
DL,
so.
you've had too much of the lace-free drug
Yeah.
candy. Gosh.
Yeah.
I know what.
Yes.
What?
What's in that?
I have been eating, and I did not make it to the popcorn balls. Those are coming. I know. All right. With that said, good night.
Bye.
Pleasant screaming.